Hello, everyone.
Hi, guys.
Welcome in. My name is Paul Hernandez.
And I'm Amy Chase.
And it's the con season. So the con season always brings fresh, new art prints.
Hot off the presses.
Hot off the press. I thought you were going to do your 1920s voice again.
Extra. We got so much to show you guys.
Yeah, we're
so excited.
More of these bits to come, but we are going to show you some of those art prints like we've done in a previous art gallery, and we don't have a lot of time because the con season is here. There's so much going on, so we are going to jump right to it now. Right up top to see these art prints and even more. Very simply, either follow the short link that you're going to see on the screen or head over to side.show/art. All right.
That's where all the art lives.
And the first piece of art, we have our installation here. I love it. It's the best part. You can like, is it art or did someone just leave their incredible skate deck here? Well, luckily for you guys, it's both. Let's start here with these skate decks.
Your eyes do not deceive you. These are in fact art prints of a kind. It is printed art on these beautiful 7-ply Canadian maplewood skate decks. This is the Vice's Gossip Skate deck by artist Timothy Petitas. This is from a very own series of his that he designed kind of based on, as the name would imply, vices, the things that plague humanity, kind of our darkest habits. And this is based on the idea of gossip, idle talk, slander, as a woman's lips are dripping a scorpion.
Yeah, these are so great. Now, like you said, it is a set, but so far this is the only one, right, in the Vices line.
Yes, this is the only Vices piece we've produced with Petitas, but it is not the only skate deck we've produced with him, but I'm getting ahead of myself.
There is just something so unsettling about just seeing I think the scorpion, I kind of forget like the rest of it, but the scorpion is so detailed and it looks so good that it's incredibly unsettling in the best possible way.
And the lips, those aren't like nicely lipsticked, glossed, unchapped lips. I mean, there's almost a dehydrated quality to them as well, almost implying that.
So a lesson to everyone, this is what happens if you gossip.
And if you eat scorpions.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we can see on the skate deck here, that design, he's done his pointillism style, so it's composed of a lot of very tightly clustered dots, very nice colors here. And this is a functional skate deck. I mean, these are produced with Madrid, who are kind of a king among skate deck pieces, but it's not only a piece you can display on your wall, you can mount it, but it's also functional. So if you are a skater and you know how to mount some wheels to it, you can take that out and show off your really cool limited art piece. This is limited to an edition size of only 100 pieces though, so if you want to get it, it's on our website right now.
And they are functioning, which is, after the show, this is how me and Amy will be getting home, but there's two. So we're going to show off the next one by Timothy Petitas.
Yes, and this is an original piece by him, but you guys might recognize this guy. This is Nosferatu. This was from a fan project of Petitas where he was recreating classic movie posters, and of course this is Nosferatu, a symphony of horror. But this is a slightly updated version of the artwork because he did rearrange some design elements to be able to fit onto the skate deck with Sideshow, so you guys can see. He moved some of the little rats, so we've got all the fun.
Adorable little rat.
Just
look at him.
Got to get one of those in there. We've got the rats, we've got the kind of coffin boards, and then of course the piercing eye. And I love, love, love those teeth. I mean, like,
teeths.
Everybody has their idea of the ideal vampire fangs, but no one's doing it quite like Count Orlok. Now, this is also a resin print on that 7-ply Canadian maple board, as we mentioned, and it is limited again to an edition size of only 100 pieces. Fully functional.
I love how much, even in that point style, how much detail and how much texture you see in so many various points in this, in the wood, and even in the various pieces of fur in the rat as well. Yes. To be able to accomplish that in that style is, I mean, Petitas did an incredible job.
Yes, and even that kind of monochromatic, the layering of different colored dots to create the depth, the shadow, and those recognizable images that you see there. Now, again, as Paul mentioned, these are available at the short link on our screen or at side.show/art. And these are just several of some incredible skateboard decks and unique formats that we are able to produce through Sideshow art prints. But that's not all. We've promised you guys more prints, and so I think Paul
Amy,
has already taken off.
Over here.
Hey, very nice. Are you the model? Are you the model
well,
for this
I don't. Yes. This is the Peacemaker fine art print by Travis Knight. Now I mean, if you are a fan of the show, we were talking about this. We love the resurgence that he's got, like these characters, these B and C list characters in previous comic book eras are getting, and to see, you know, John Cena recreated here, but I mean, Travis Knight did a great job.
I can't see him. I almost can't see him.
You see, there's just an eagle here.
Just an eagle. No, this is an amazing piece by Travis Knight, who's got a really fun style that has some of that kind of classic, almost the Ben-Day dot style, the four-color printing of classic comics, a little bit of pulp in there, as well as we see kind of his very unique take on Peacemaker and Eagly with the almost X-ray vision of the anatomy of a hero, if you will.
And Travis is a huge horror fan. Like a majority of what he does personally and also professionally, he does a lot of horror. So the skull, like the skeleton that you're seeing underneath for not only Peacemaker but for Eagly is sort of an homage to that. Like he's still getting some light horror elements in there, and of course the entire backdrop of that. Very unique take on the American flag. I love that taupe color almost that's in it as well. It looks so good.
Yes, and so you guys are seeing the custom framed edition, but this is also available in an unframed giclée format. Just a really fun, unique piece if you were a big fan of the show. And our first time working with this artist, so we're very excited to have this in our repertoire of Sideshow art prints. I love all those elements, especially where in the X-ray style, the line work changes to a red, almost has that 3D goggles vision, the kind of X-ray scanning, and so there's a lot going on in this.
And it's funny, you know, for fans of the show, that sort of X-ray vision is a subtle nod to the helmet that Peacemaker does wear, which gives him X-ray vision throughout the show as well. So you can tell Travis is a huge fan of the show as well. But we're staying within the world of DC for a bit.
Yes, a lot of fun things going on here. I mean, all the recent properties. Next up, we've got another first-time collaboration with artist Kevin McGivern. This is the Harley Quinn Red Flags fine art print.
Oh, there's so much to see here, and of course, this is from the 2020 already?
I've lost track of the years.
Oh goodness, from the new Suicide Squad film by James Gunn, of course. Now from that famous scene where she breaks out. You know, maybe no spoilers for everyone.
Little light spoilers.
Light spoilers,
maybe.
but she breaks out. She's in this dress, and the film is called. You know, in the film, she gives a speech about finding red flags in her significant other, and that's what this print is named after.
I mean, it's always important when you've got a track record like Harley Quinn to always be careful about who you let into your life, but this piece is so much fun and blends that psychedelic style in the Corto Maltese prison with, you know, I love that there's we've got the cartoon birds and the flowers, and you can almost hear the cartoon bubbly noises and popping and tweeting, and then we've got the beautifully rendered parakeets and actual ferns and flowers all around her, as well as she gleefully skips out of the prison with just a little trail of carnage behind, only just a little hint of it.
Those bullet holes were there when she found them. They're not because of her, probably. And of course, you know, it's got that double matte look. It's got that gold sort of inlay there, and that matches perfectly with the javelin that she picks up in the the beginning of the film. Almost.
And again, just the details that McGivern has put into this piece. That javelin is fully detailed with tons of design and I want to say sculpture, but sculpture on an art print, all the way throughout. And this is just a fun, energetic piece. If you are a fan of the Margot Robbie cinematic Harleyverse that's got going on there, I just love her in everything. And yeah, as Paul mentioned, that beautiful custom framed mat that has the gold accent to really kind of tie back in visually to the javelin and just keep your eyes within this fun image.
Yeah, and again, it's so much fun. And it's funny, Amy, you were mentioning about being able to hear it. I can not only hear all of the various birds, and I can hear, you can almost see everything falling back to where she, would or would not fall, and also the detail on that incredible dress.
Yes. Now this is available for pre-order on our website, so you guys can check that out at SIDE.SHOW/art. But we've got even more DC pieces.
We sure do. We are going, again, as we mentioned, we're moving from, I guess, anti-heroes to straight up heroes. This is The Dark Knight Returns by Dave Wilkins after Frank Miller.
Yes, of course. This is an iconic cover homage done in the style of course, Frank Miller's The Dark Knight Returns cover. But Dave Wilkins has added even more of the story into this image. Just a really cool collage of characters, all the people that inspired Bruce's return to heroism, for better or for worse. You know, sometimes he had to get up because people were causing trouble, but other generations, like Carrie Kelly as Robin, were inspiring him as well.
Yeah, and again, a whole merry cast of people in that comic have made their way into this art print reimagined by Dave Wilkins. You've got Two-Face Carrie Kelly, you've got Oliver Queen there, you've got Commissioner Jim Gordon. Who's this guy?
I don't know, you know,
just only one of the most
the
popular.
guy who lost to Batman.
Of course, Superman, Joker, and the mutant leader. They have their, of course, infamous battle at the end of that comic, and even the movie, you know, the animated show. Again, it represents it very well.
And I love the different like shapes that we've got. A lot of the characters in the background are softer, but they're very well lit. And then we've got that unique kind of almost geometric look to the cape.
Yeah, I was looking at that, and I think
And it matches so well with his gauntlets as well. And then the unpredictability of the lightning.
I was gonna say the lightning strike right down, lighting up the entirety of the cast of characters behind him, almost.
Yes, very cool tones as well. I like that the only kind of pop of anything other than a darker color is that yellow belt, but even that is kind of hidden, and we've got the kind of purples and blues blooming out from this piece.
And, yeah, and it's a perfect companion piece to that statue that we have coming out pretty soon.
Yes, the Dark Knight premium format figure that you guys got to see earlier this year. But we've got even more pieces, and again, great companions to other statues that we've released recently. This is the Batman Who Laughs by Richard Long.
Yes.
And this is terrifying. This is an original
love it.
image created for Sideshow and a perfect companion to the premium format figure.
Yeah, I mean, I love just so much of the lighting in this, and of course,
Speaking of that lighting, we had the cool blues, and now we've got
like the
this.
very warm, almost like horrifying red that you know he is known for within the dark multiverse during Scott Snyder and Greg Capullo's book. And Richard Long is a huge DC fan. I mean, has done so many. He's worked on the statue, the premium format that we had done, and incorporated some of those textures and some of those elements, especially the Robins, or the Groblins, if you will.
Or the Dark Robins, depending on who you ask.
And just all of the various details in the chain as well. And for me, I keep coming back to, like, you know, you can see that almost, I think he calls it like his dark crown that he has there, you know, his smile and his teeth, but like his hands. His hands are just so twisted like the Joker, but calculated sort of like Batman.
Yes, and they're so detailed, but then there's those soft elements of like almost the heat and the blood and the viscera kind of dripping from him. I mean, I even love that we can see flecks of saliva coming out of his laughing mouth. I mean, like that is an essential piece that adds to the kind of horror factor of this. Rich is such an amazing artist. He goes by Tentacles and Teeth outside of in his other professional pursuits, but you can. He really does excel at things like tentacles and teeth and, you know, chains. And I just noticed this Groblin down here, because, you know, you've got those two are very clear over the shoulder.
A couple hidden one
my
right
God.
there as
Ooh,
well.
The longer you look, the more there are.
Yeah.
I don't know how I feel about that.
Yeah, there's like in the books, there's about 4 or 5. Well, I mean, technically 5, but one of them, you know, doesn't make it. But yeah, it's so much fun, and I also love all of the texturing that you can see in the outfit that the Batman Who Laughs is wearing.
Yeah,
all
you
various
got
buckles and
leather-like. I love the dents in the metal visor as well.
yeah, it's again another piece that is up for pre-order right now. And again, follow the short link on your screen, or just head over to SIDE.SHOW/art. Now we're gonna pivot. Boom! Speaking of Batman.
And cowls and masks, this is the Batman Unmask the Truth fine art lithograph by Bill Sienkiewicz.
Oh, we know him.
You know,
yeah,
just-
he's a good dude.
Oh my gosh, Bill Sienkiewicz is, I mean, if you didn't recognize from the iconic style alone, I mean, he is just a prolific artist. He's defined so many generations of previous comic book characters, and now he's taking on this latest iteration of the Batman from the Batman.
From the Batman, the Matt Reeves film, and there are so many things. Like, if you are such a big fan of that take on that version of Gotham and that Rogues Gallery, and of course Bruce Wayne Batman himself, you get not 1, not 2, not 3, but technically 4 batsmans in this.
It's a lot of bats for your buck in this one.
Exactly.
I love these collage style images though, especially for film pieces, because film is moving images and prints are static images, but they're so dynamic in the way that he has layered different elements of the evolution of the character throughout the film.
And it brings so many of the iconic moments from that film that I think lots of fans of this new take, or even old Batman fans, sort of gravitated towards things that they feel are defining for Batman.
And I love that it's all centered on the Riddler's symbol there, almost like a crosshair that draws everybody in.
Yeah, and of course, you've got the Riddler right up there. He's sort of within the silhouette of Batman there, and you've got Bruce Wayne as as himself as he appears, the billionaire playboy that he is, but he isn't. And then, of course, we've got Penguin, Jim Gordon, Selena Kyle, and we've got a fun scene down there. I mean, if you haven't, are we saying spoilers, Amy? Should we say light spoiler alerts for the entire gallery?
Yeah, for the entire gallery.
Yeah, I mean, when he's confronting, I should say, Falcone, they've executed that scene, and it sort of feels like almost it's in the shape of this question mark as well, and that's sort of the dot.
Yes.
Of it. Like it does give that impression to me as well.
Yeah, again, this is just a really nicely shaped piece as well, and then we bring it up to this Batman here, and you see the colors. We've got the kind of orangey glow and the fiery, but we've got that light refracting, almost the flooded element of the lower half of the page where Sienkiewicz brings in those cooler textures. Now you are seeing the custom framed edition with that unique matte that has the kind of spiked corner design. It is also available as an unframed lithograph, but each piece is hand signed by Bill Sienkiewicz and comes with a certificate of authenticity, as a part of that limited edition. So if you love this film and you love Sienkiewicz's artwork, there's no reason not to add this to your collection.
Amy, speaking of killer masks, see like that?
I love that.
We've been doing the show a long time.
Yes.
This is The Butcher by Jason Edmiston. This is such a cool piece.
This is so much fun, and fun's not usually a word you use to describe Leatherface, but I love this piece so much because you described Edmiston's style as
ideal realism.
Ideal realism,
calls it, yeah.
Where he kind of hypersaturates and takes a specific color. So here we've got the yellows and the oranges, almost of that climactic final chainsaw dance scene, if you will. But it's got this beautiful American Gothic quality to it, the rural America as Leatherface, barrels down out the front yard of the Sawyer home with a chainsaw.
And there was so, fun stuff. Don't party with Amy Chase, everyone. And again, Amy mentioned he likes to take one color, oversaturate it, and incorporate that color into various parts of it. Really, the biggest pop of color here is the green in the grass and the plants there, because this is, you have the yellow, but that yellow sort of matches. It's sort of like the hottest point of that saturation. It's the hottest saturation point in that yellow. And Jason, of course has a great feel for this because he is also in Texas.
Oh, really?
As well. So of course, who would know? Who else would know better?
Painted on location, perhaps, maybe not.
This is actually him. He was recreating it.
And there's some really fun visual noise in this. I mean, of course, we've got almost the literal noise of the chainsaw, because I'm sure everybody knows what that sounds like in their head, and we've got that nice blood splatter. But across the knees and the grass, and you can almost feel like the dirt rising up, we've also got the visual noise around Leatherface. It's almost the blood splatter, the exhaustion, the heat coming off of him in waves here, a sense of desperation and motion. It's like a horrific aura that he just, gives off to people. Yes, and now you guys are seeing the Giclée edition, but there is a canvas edition that is limited to only 74 pieces as an Easter egg nod to the film's original release year, 1974. So you can get that as a canvas print as well with high quality archival varnish, or you can get it in the unframed or framed Giclée styles. This piece is just,
You almost said fun again.
It's got a very classy look to it if you're going to pick a slasher.
and also, I feel like it's very difficult to capture the feel of a horror film within 2D, within art, because so much of I think what makes horror characters so iconic is the idea that is the noise around them. Like, have you ever done the thing where you watch a horror movie with no sound? It's totally different. And for Jason to be able to capture this this way is incredible, and a testament to how great he is.
Yes, and a very kind of nice testament to the original artistic vision of the film.
Now, switching to a film that's not nearly.
This is also a very fun film, but when I say fun, you know that I mean fun.
Yeah.
This is the There Were Dragons fine art print by artist George Kaltsoudas. This is a beautiful stylized piece based on the first How to Train Your Dragon film. I'm so happy every time we get to do a How to Train Your Dragon
I know you are.
piece, because the trilogy means so much to me. But this is just such a fun take back to the earliest days of when the Vikings have just made friends with their dragons.
So now Amy, as someone who's not nearly as familiar with this, walk us through, who are we looking at here in the art print?
We are looking at, first of all, of course, we've got Hiccup. I think it's Hiccup Horrible Haddock III. I sometimes get his names mixed up, but it's a very strong Viking name.
It sure is.
Riding on Toothless the Night Fury. You guys can see the prosthetic tail fin. But we've also got a ton of Hiccup's friends, his fellow learners, his fellow Vikings who were being taught to hunt and kill the dragons before they befriended them. Down here we've got Astrid and Stormfly, the deadly natter. Love
I like that they're also matching.
Yeah! Then we've got the twins, Tough Nut and Rough Nut, with Barf and Belch, the hideous Zippleback dragon. And then we've got Snotlout on his monstrous nightmare, whose name I actually forget. I thought it was Nightmare, but I know that she is a monstrous nightmare.
It's the beauty of the internet. They'll tell us.
Yes, they will let us know. But you guys can also see this beautiful Viking vista as we fly over the Isle of Berk. We've got the Protector statue and the kind of Nordic architecture, also the dragon style,
Oh yeah,
the way
the windmill itself. Yeah, that's really cool.
Influenced their way of living. But the style is so beautiful, and it's framed. Paul, you want to talk maybe a little bit about the framing you get with this piece?
I thought it was cool looking at this because it's double framed. Of course, as we've mentioned with some of these Sideshow fine art prints, it has this inlay, right? The gold that matches a particular color or a theme, but also it's almost double framed because you've got some. I mean, what would you even call it, Amy? Like the way that it's framed here, it almost feels like you'd find it like at a tavern. You find this almost etched into a wall, like some sort of glyphic.
With that Celtic knot kind of border. Almost also feels like something out of one of Hiccup's sketchbooks, maybe his dragon field guide. And you've got the nice little dragon symbol kind of framing the corners. So whether or not you've got the custom framed edition or the unframed Giclée, you've got that beautiful option. And then of course, the most exciting visual detail is that Toothless's wings are actually breaking the border of the image because they are just flying so fast and coming right at the viewer and breaking that additional frame to give a different visual depth to the piece. It's just such a heartwarming print. And love it so much.
Amy, we do get to stay within the wonderful world of fantasy. Just for a bit. We have our first piece of art, of media that we've done within Critical Role's Campaign 3.
Yes, so this is a Bell's Hells piece. This is the Draw of Destiny by Ian McDonald. You guys, Ian McDonald is a prolific artist and has tackled several other Critical Role subjects. Of course, he's done Vex and Vax from Vox Machina, and he has done The Mighty Nine, and now we are so thrilled to have our first officially licensed piece of Bell's Hells Campaign 3 artwork. I mean, this campaign is airing weekly. I just caught up on the latest episode, but this is the team as they arrive in Drusar, the continent of Marquette and the beautiful spires of the city. And it's got everybody from the first leg of the campaign. So down here, we've got Chetney, respect the alpha. We've got Ashton, Little Mister, and Fern. We've got Fresh Cut Grass wheeling off the top here, and Laudna and Imogen up front. Orym of the Air Ashari, and then everybody's favorite blue singing boy, we've got Dorian Storm, with some of the Simigard bird, like these kind of bird dogs that kind of I think I said the name wrong, but they kind of patrol the spires of this city because it's like 5 different giant spires all connected by trolley cars and stuff. And so Ian McDonald has gotten all of those beautiful details of this far off Marquette city.
And I think one thing that Ian's done, we've taken a look at some of his Critical Role pieces, is he sort of captures like that kinetic energy of this group, of this team so well. And you can feel this whole guild here, this team, sort of coming at this way, but it's all smiles. And I also love her her cane there, because it also it's like another character sort of jumping out and attacking this way.
Yes, she can actually turn that into snakes as well, so it does turn into giant snakes, and she's got
Spoilers, Amy. I'm not caught up yet.
I'm
still on campaign 1.
Her little fire monkey. But yeah, everybody's got their signature style. I mean, Ashton has their giant mallet. Chetney's got his little woodworking tools. Laudna is dripping with the delightful dark magic that she does, and Imogen's got her powers. Orem has got his sword at the ready, and Fresh Cut Grass is ready to heal anybody who needs a helping hand. And it's just such a fun piece that captures all the characters from this campaign, so it's great to have the team together. Now, this is an open edition print, comes with an authorized automated artist signature and an embossed seal of authenticity as part of Sideshow's official Critical Role collection, which you can find at side.show/Critical Role.
Boom. And for all our prints, side.show/art, everyone. And again, if you are an Ian McDonald fan, like I am, one of the things that I love so much that he's done, I mean, in comic book covers and other various art prints, is the level of detail that he still gives to the background of things. Like, I love the details of this city.
Because Drusar is almost as much a character in the campaign as any of these characters are. So Ian's working his way through Exandria, so hopefully you guys, you critters out there, are picking up these pieces, because we're very excited to have Bell's Hells in our collection.
And what's great is if you are just jumping onto the Critical Role bandwagon like myself, and you have just started with campaign 3, then this is going to be the most familiar and the best starting point for licensed collectibles. All right. We've got to move along. I guess we're still we're within space fantasy.
Space fantasy, but we're in a galaxy way, way, way far away from all of that.
Guys, happened a while ago too.
Right here, we've got the Darth Vader, the Chosen One, fine art print by artist Marco Mastrazzo, who was featured on this very wall the last time we had the privilege of hosting an art gallery.
This is Marco's wall.
This is Marco's wall.
He's done the Joker, and he's also done that Pennywise.
Yes. And now we're back with Darth Vader, and this is a piece from our Mythos collection. So Mythos does not only span the statues that you're familiar with, but also an incredible range of art prints. And this was made in conjunction with and inspired by our recent Darth Vader Mythos statue release. So this depicts a Vader kind of almost at the height of his power. And I love the title that you were the chosen one. Well, you know, he's chosen now in the dark side of the Force, and he will bring destruction, but just that incredible kind of take of a powerful Vader. We see where he's come from. We see the cyborg legs and the destroyed engine of an X-Wing, I believe, or, you know, some rebel starship that he is.
Someone who's not happy.
Absolutely obliterating.
Yeah. And as Amy had mentioned, you know, this is a good companion piece to the Mythos statue that we have coming out. And I think one of the things that people really resonate, you know, resonates with people about the statue is sort of like the energy of the swooping cape, all of the sort of, again, all of the fire and everything under his feet, and Marco captures that so well here. And one of the things that I really love that he does is in various points, you know, there, and here, it almost looks like it's a vibration, or it's kind of a blurred effect, I think, giving you the sense that those pieces specifically are coming at you and moving.
Yes, this is a very powerful Vader. Of course, we also see the Mustafar castle and those amazing, very chunky brush strokes up at the top that are captured in high fidelity. Because you can see it's almost like the air is choked out with ash. This is a strong Vader, despite the cracks in his armor and his helmet that are exposing what he is. Because this
I just noticed that on his helmet. Oh yeah,
like
the Mythos statue.
Like the Mythos statue. It's funny how that works. Yeah, it's just such a beautiful piece showing almost the showmanship and the ruthlessness of this version of Vader. And it's just ready to crush the rebellion.
And there's just something to me about the specific way that magma, that lava is kind of coming down the rocks. In a way, just as a Star Wars fan, my brain goes to like Force lightning. It's sort of that very geometric crackling appearance that it gives. It's all very specific, and nothing that Marco does is on accident.
Right, just every ounce of detail here. And you guys can see that this piece does also, in the custom framed edition, have that unique mat with a more square-like corner. Almost gives like a mechanical, it almost gives the Imperial symbol that has kind of those flatter edges, and then it has that matching gray mat. It's also available as an unframed giclée, but it is in stock on our website right now, so you can add that to your collection if you're looking to pair it with the statue or bring it home by itself.
Yeah. Now, we're gonna stay within the world of Star Wars. We've got you guys may recognize them from being everywhere.
The most popular, I mean, just the way that these two have taken over pop culture imagination. I mean, who doesn't love, you know, just a clan of two?
A clan of two. This is the Din Djarin and Grogu Clan of Two by Jerry Vanderstelt. Now, for eagle-eyed viewers, you may have seen, we've had this in our show before, but we had it actually on like a foam core. We had just gotten it in before, and now this is actually on the wrapped canvas.
Yes, this is the gallery wrapped canvas edition, finished with an archival varnish that ensures the longevity of this piece in your collection. You guys are also seeing that unique floating frame. We call them floating frame because it looks as though the image is floating. The frame is incapable of floating, unless maybe Grogu's using the Force.
I don't know.
But it gives a nice, I like the way that it kind of has like it lets the image run to the edge and then drop off.
Exactly.
And it just really puts a lot of focus on this piece. And Jerry Vanderstelt is an acclaimed fantasy artist. I mean, odds are you've seen his work before.
And you will see it again later in the show.
And you will absolutely see it again. That is a promise. Just the beautiful colors of this piece, the way that the twin suns are reflecting off of the Mandalorian armor, the shadows of this.
The texture in the rock and the atmosphere, and even on the Razor Crest too.
Yes, for me it's the fraying of the cape. Just those individual wisps you can see have been kind of painted and considered as Din Djarin has been on such many adventures that, you know, he doesn't have time to.
And you know, and while we do have some art prints in here to show you the incredible artist and the way that it actually looks in 2D, this is actually a huge testament to the art print team and this wrapped canvas in the floating frame. So we've got another Star Wars piece, Amy.
Yes, we do. We just can't
Last
quit.
one of the day.
This is an amazing piece by Darren Tan. This is the Ahsoka Tano Between Worlds piece. And again, we've got that, the storytelling of the Vader with the cracked helmet, I mean, is such an important symbol throughout the saga.
And is so important right now, specifically, I think, in pop culture, is that that dichotomy between where does Anakin stop and Vader start, you know,
yes.
in the earlier ends of the saga.
Yes, and so this is inspired by Ahsoka's more mature appearance in the Rebels animated series, but it has Darren Tan's signature style as well. We see the Morai companion up there, the Convor, as well as the kind of temple on Malachor base that we've got going on with those illuminated kind of runes and symbols throughout. And then of course, Ahsoka's unique lightsabers that are different lengths.
Yeah, I mean, this is great, and another companion piece to that Ahsoka premium format.
Yes.
I like when we put this out, you know, some of the people who've been following Sideshow for a while started getting some ideas maybe.
Yeah.
And of course, yeah, you know, while the pose itself is different, we did want to give an homage to this through the art print.
Yes, and if you have the exclusive edition with the Morai proximity piece, you can display them both together. But it's a great way that it's not necessary to have both in your collection to have the full experience, but it does give a kind of before and after. This is Ahsoka in a taller stance, and the premium format has her in a more action-oriented stance, and so it does just add dimension to your storytelling capabilities through your collection. Or, you know, if you're just a huge Ahsoka fan, excuse me, you can just bring home every piece of her. But this is, of course, just that really nice dynamic between the learner and the master, and friends and enemies and all of that great stuff. So that is limited to an edition size of 1,000 pieces, and it is in stock on our website right now, side.show/art, or check the short link on your screen.
Boom, nice.
All right, so now I'm gonna throw it over here to the Marvel Universe.
Speaking of friends that aren't just me and Amy, we've got the Wolverine and Colossus Fastball Special by Derek Chu. Derek, who's been featured on not only on Sideshow, but in our art galleries before. This is such a cool piece.
Yes, and you also might know Derek by his kind of acronym moniker DCWJ. All of his pieces are so highly kinetic, and especially with the Fastball Special, of course, one of the most iconic team maneuvers in comic books. I dare you to find another one. If you can think of another one, leave it in the comments, please. But the Fastball Special, I mean, it's always got a Wolverine, not always, but usually got a Wolverine and somebody very, very strong, and these two are some of the finest two to ever pull off the maneuver. Look at the incredible kind of the reflectivity of Colossus in this piece as Sentinels are exploding in the background. I mean, they're winding up for a pitch, so who knows what happened to this guy, but he's not having a good day.
No, he's not. They're already through. It almost looks like they've already sort of come through over his left eye, like they went through that way.
Maybe they're playing hot potato with Wolverine down the line.
Absolutely. Fun fact, when Sideshow needs to put up the Christmas lights, this is how me and Amy actually get all the Christmas lights up there. She throws me up there. She is 5'9".
Hey, She-Hulk and Wolverine did it once too.
Hey, it works. Yeah, and of course in that double matte with that accompanying blue that you find on Wolverine's armor and on his gloves. And one thing that Derek Chu does so well, and we've talked about it, especially when he does some of the, what's the other format? The one that's
the
like
HD aluminum.
The HD aluminum, it looks so good.
So this is also available in that format. You guys are seeing the G-Clay here, but there is an HD aluminum format available for the Fastball Special.
But Derek Chu does perspective really well. Like everything specifically is at like an angle. He's coming down this way or up, and this is no different here. Again, this is the Wolverine and Colossus Fastball Special by Derek Chu. Let's keep it within the X-Men, huh?
Yes, if you're looking to evolve your collection even further with the might of mutants, we've got the Jean Grey Phoenix Transformation fine art print by artist Cale New. And this is our first time working with Cale.
Yeah.
So this is another beautiful, beautiful piece. I mean, talk about that lighting and the way that the flames are just absolutely erupting from the Phoenix form of Jean Grey, who I love. It's not a horror piece, it's a comic book piece, but there's almost a horror edge to it where you can see Jean Grey watching, and maybe she's helpless to stop the transformation. Maybe she feels empowered by it, but we can't quite see her full expression there. We just see the kind of open-lipped expression of potential fear.
Cale New did such an incredible job with this piece. It took me, we've walked through this a couple times to rehearse. Believe it or not, everyone, we do rehearse quite a bit.
We're professionals.
I didn't even notice Jean in the back until maybe the second or third walkthrough. Because like just everything that's going on here, also just the very specific coloring of I guess this is the Phoenix's gloves. Like that style of gold, it just looks so much different than everything else.
Yes, it is such a contrast to the kind of softer renders of the costume where you'd see like, oh, that's fabric.
Yeah, it's like more metallic or maybe more of like a bright leather some type, but it just feels different than everything else, and that's so incredible.
And Jean is very well camouflaged in this because we've got the bright yellows here, and her suit, the blue parts of her suit are kind of hidden by the Phoenix flame, and then we've got that red hair. So she is quite well disguised in this piece, but it adds another layer of like the fact that Jean Grey is distantly there as the Phoenix takes over. From, of course, the iconic storyline. It's just such a cool piece, and I believe this also has an HD aluminum alternate version. But you guys can see this is the custom framed edition. All these pieces are framed because they look real nice on the wall, but you can also bring home the unframed G-Clay edition, which also will look nice on your wall if you want to bring that home. But yeah, just such an impressive piece by Cale, and we hope to continue collaboration. This also matches that really cool Jean Grey Phoenix maquette, which I heard went to waitlist. So if you were at all on the fence about that, maybe jump on that list, because I think a lot of people wanted to bring home that maquette that has the two characters, the Jean and the Phoenix kind of in transformation by Sideshow, and this makes a great companion to that as well.
Lots of great companion pieces today. And speaking of companions, how you doing? Good?
I'm doing great.
Working through, stretching?
Yeah, limbering up.
We have to be on the ball because Stan's right here.
We've still got more pieces to show you. I know, and speaking of a great companion to basically any comic book collection ever, the king of cameos, this is Stan the Man Lee by Jerry Vanderstelt.
We told you there was more Jerry coming. I mean, it's iconic. Like it puts Stan Lee in the forefront of wherever this goes. And like you said, that's the beauty of Stan Lee, is whatever collection you want to put him in front of, it works.
Yeah.
It just works.
And I love because Jerry Vanderstelt often does the heroes of fantasy and sci-fi and our favorite Star Wars characters or Lord of the Rings characters. This is Stan Lee, the hero to many. We've got that golden glow. We've got the iconic smile, mustache, sunglasses, gestures, his sweater, just everything going on here. You can practically hear and see this image moving in your collection. And I love the kind of visual noise as well that we've got around here to give
almost like a drip style. Almost, it looks very kind of like water paint-esque sort of. And again, just that sunrise or that light that is behind him illuminating and glowing around him, giving him that sort of otherworldly aura.
Yes, I mean, this one is for the true believers, and as you guys can see, this is also available this is available as a G-Clay, but it's also in the canvas format, so you guys are seeing the canvas again, gallery wrapped, so the image does go to the edges.
Floating frame.
The floating frame.
Yeah.
Archival varnish, high fidelity inks on a breathe life canvas that just really nicely preserves that. And again, you can almost see Van der Stelt's brush strokes. I can see them especially in the shoulders here, just a lot of those, and that nice swipe right there that almost does look like a sunrise.
And a fun like texture on this as well. That's what you guys just saw. I just moved because I was touching it.
So it's not quite flat like a comic book panel, so I wouldn't say it looks like he's just out of a comic book, but it's got such a beautiful visual art style that he does look like a larger than life mythic hero in this creation.
Absolutely. Yeah, and again, this is Stan the Man Lee by Jerry Van der Stel. Again, another incredible addition to your collection. Follow the short link below or simply side.show/art. Now, Amy, I've come to bargain. Can I announce what this is?
Please do.
This is the Doctor Strange by Greg Ruth. Now, some of you may recognize we featured some of Greg's art in the previous art gallery. He also did that incredible WandaVision print that we debuted at our previous art gallery. But I mean, look at this. Look how good he is.
Yes, and this has that official Marvel Studios logo. This is an officially licensed piece, as Paul said, based on the first Doctor Strange movie. It's got that kind of movie poster style to it, and as you guys can see here, it is, I believe, like a full bleed image, or we've got none of that kind of white border. It's all color all the way around.
And in that, you know, in a simple black frame that really puts the emphasis on the image itself. So when moving to the image, of course, we've got Stephen Strange, Doctor Strange himself, with incredible likeness to Benedict Cumberbatch, and he's, you know, doing the hand thing.
I love seeing that because it's such a distinct gesture. I mean, you know, Thor's got the hammer catch, and we've got the shield throw, and the repulsors for Iron Man, and then we've got the distinct Mystic Arts hands going on.
Absolutely, and you've got, of course, the Eye of Agamotto, and you've got various levels of like green energy, or maybe it's, I guess, time energy seeping out of the eye. Amy, and I like what you mentioned about like the blue sort of
so we've got,
coming out.
There's like blue, there's even yellow, and then we'll talk about this guy in a minute. But I love the color transition and the way in which it's the wisps are thin enough that you can see where they're wrapping over themselves. It kind of gives me the vibe of the classic screensavers in that it's so mesmerizing as you see the colors going around, and I could just stare at that.
Instant nostalgia.
Yes.
For young Amy. And of course, he's obviously in the sanctum because you can see the sigil of Ashanti behind him, that, you know, now that iconic window pane that he has.
Yes, and another great light source in this piece, which is contrasted on the bottom, I guess, by a darkness source. I mean, it's very bright and colorful, but it's the dark dimension.
We've come to bargain with Dormammu here. You can see those dark dimensional eyes that are just so terrifying, and you know, if you look carefully, you can almost see a bit of a realism in the planets in the dark dimension, and the various you know, things that you would find in the dark dimension just sort of seeping back there.
Yes, and it took me until about our second or third walkthrough to actually notice Dormammu, kind of like Paul in the Jean Grey piece, because it's just so colorful, it blends so well, but it's also a kind of a hidden aspect of, like, we've got all the magic going on up top, we've got some rebar and rubble and everything going on, and then boom. But yeah, as you mentioned, I love the kind of hyper rendering on that planet, and then we've almost got where there's like sketch elements to it as well, where it's you can see more like pencil lines and brush strokes as we see some of his costume back into that beautiful rendering that Greg Ruth does.
And it also sort of, you know, looking on the bottom half of this here at focusing on Dormammu, he doesn't necessarily have a specific physiology, he doesn't have like a face that you can point to in the movies, and the rebar and like sort of looks like a nose here, it sort of gives you this impression that he is like everything and nothing. It's just one of the things that I love that they did with Dormammu in the film.
Yes, and one of his greatest adversaries, but also wrapping in those other elements of destruction and death. And so that is the Doctor Strange fine art print by Greg Ruth. If you guys already have the WandaVision piece, this will make a great addition alongside that, because you've got that kind of movie poster style feel to it. All right, and now we're taking things to a totally different dimension. I mean, just absolute, you know, hellish battlescape.
Metal, you can say. It's so metal, it's awesome.
Not to be confused with the Batman Who Laughs metal dimension. This is the Death Dealer 3 original by Frank Frazetta. Now, when I say original, this is not the original artist's painting. This is a high fidelity reproduction, officially licensed, of course, with Frank Frazetta. But original means this was the first version of Death Dealer 3 that Frank Frazetta ever created. As an artist, he was constantly challenging himself, evolving his artwork, changing his style. And so there is another version of Death Dealer 3 that we did previously release, but this is the original image of this character in this version, Death Dealer 3, that he created. And you guys can see here, this is the deluxe silver framed edition.
So cool.
This is an amazing version that we offer for select Frazetta pieces, and you can see there's a Baroque antique finish on the outside
like
of
a
the
brushed metal almost.
Yeah, it's got this beautiful, I believe it's wood, but it's got that beautiful paint style. And then there is a beaded wood fillet around the edge, and so instead of that kind of matte design, there is the black matte, but then you've got that, that silver beaded frame, and then of course the high quality giclée. Just an amazing piece. This highly detailed version of the Death Dealer. You can see his red eyes and the shadows were less dramatic in this piece. You can see more of the detail on his armor and his costume, the kind of almost chain mail-esque.
Right, yeah, it looks almost like it blends in armor and like scales that you'd find like on a fish, like it is one, like the warrior is one with its armor. And I think Frank Frazetta has always done a great job of sort of recreating warriors and images like this that were popular in that pulp scene then that you hadn't really seen before.
Yes, and this version was used as a book cover for the Lords, I believe the Lords of Death series. You can see some of the, I love that there's bubbles coming out of this lava lake, and it's not just lava bubbles, like the skeletons are dying all around him as he's standing.
The used battle axe as well, all the way. There's a little faint pieces, like you can see that there's some blood on there.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
That's dope.
Just a great detail. Now this is available unframed, but you can get this deluxe presentation as well. And I mean, if you're a Frank Frazetta fan, a collector, there's absolutely no reason not to. It comes with a hand-stamped or an authorized artist signature, so that is a stamped official symbol. There is the, I believe, the certificate of authenticity with the Frank Frazetta Museum included as well. And the proceeds, a part of the proceeds from all Frank Frazetta art print sales go to the museum to help contribute to the preservation and exhibition of the artist's essential works. So this is just a fabulous fantasy piece for your collection.
Yeah, and it definitely needs to go into your collection, everyone. We're gonna stay within the super metal world of Frank Frazetta. We've got the Escape from Venus piece from Frank Frazetta.
Yes, and now this was used as a book cover from Escape on Venus by Edgar Rice Burroughs. Yes, the book title is a little different than the print, but this is the story or depiction of a woman traversing the alien wilds, confronted with a, I mean, it looks like a tiger. I don't know what space tiger.
Sure. Tiger.
And she's got a knife, and she's got not a whole lot of armor, but she's armed with determination in this beautiful and strange landscape. I love the use of purples for the shadows, or maybe that's just what the flora and fauna of Venus looks like, but it creates such a striking contrast with not only her and her golden accents, but the piercing yellow eyes of that wildcat.
And yeah, and just all of the texture around, like the environment itself, almost looks like mushrooming, like up here as well, and the vines are just sort of falling off as well.
Soft grasses going off. I love it right here. I can just feel what that grass
space lily pads.
Space lily pads.
Space lily pads. Space knife. Yeah, again,
it's all on Venus, so it's all in space. But this is a very Earthling art print.
It sure is. You can get it only on Earth. Definitely one of the more interesting things. I mean, the image itself is interesting, but the way that they framed it, we have that double matte, is just the use of the double lines. You've got a thinner line on the outside, only on this side, and the same on that one. We've seen it a couple of different times where that matte is different, and that matte is unique on this one as well.
Yes, so every individual art print produced through Sideshow Art Prints, when it gets a framed edition like this, the team takes into consideration the accent color, what part of the image is going to go best to keep your eye within the image. We saw the gold on Harley Quinn, and we see this nice blue on Escape from Venus. What matte shape will go best with the custom framed edition, and honestly, it takes the guesswork out of displaying in your collection. So if you are a fan of Frazetta, fantasy, just one of his kind of essential images from the classic Edgar Rice Burroughs novels, then this is another great piece you'll want to add to your collection. Now again, you can find all of this at side.show/art. pre-ordering or in stock. So if you want to add them to your collection, you'll have that opportunity. But we have one final piece on the slab to show you guys today. You guys have gotten a closer look at all of these amazing prints that we are so excited to feature for the summer convention season. But you might have seen our recent announcement of a really exciting collaboration with Olivia de Berardinis. Not only are we featuring her Frankie Reborn fine art print, but she did create an accompanying statue that was part of our convention announcements. But here is the print that the statue is based on. This is Olivia's Frankie Reborn, and we are so excited to have this piece.
I mean, and again, we were mentioning the intricacies of like the matting. Like look at, again, just like the bright pink, or it's almost like that baby pink that's there, and it matches all of the bandages that she has.
And it almost looks like the mat has been stitched together quite like she has. This is a reimagined variant of Olivia's original Frankie's Bride piece, so fans of her artwork may recognize that piece. This is model Tia Eckhart, and this has been an updated design to accompany the statue release. You guys will also note we've got that very interesting chair design that is fully rendered out in the statue edition, but it is based on the body snatcher design by sculptor Martin Munier. The way that Olivia does that with the backgrounds and the kind of lighter lines versus the full render of Frankie's Bride herself. Now this is such an amazing piece. I mean, first of all, check the hair, check the heels. I mean, I think she had a height requirement coming out of the laboratory there, but this variant features some updates to the original art, including those soft pink bandages and stitches holding her all together as she's unwrapping her bandages to reveal a brand new tattoo, the mechanical woman Maria from Metropolis. Just a beautiful, beautiful piece. And this is available for pre-order on our website, so if you're thinking of picking up that statue as well, you're gonna wanna get Frankie Reborn by Olivia for your collection, and it will be hand signed by artist Olivia as well.
Okay, everyone. Well, thank you all so very much for joining me and Amy in another art gallery showcasing the incredible work.
We should get together and do it again sometime.
We should do it again. We basically just live in this art gallery. Thank you all so much for watching. Again, all of this can be found at side.show/art.
All this and more.
All this and so much more. Or if you want to know about these pieces specifically, side.show/art. With that, thank you all so much for watching. Enjoy the art, and most importantly, don't forget to let your geek side show.
Thanks, guys.
Bye, everyone.